So that was a nice set of 30 or so detours. And I believe I've got everything I need. So without further ado, let's get to this mob crusher. Try and get it working. Hey look, there are monsters in here. Actually quite a few in there. That's nice. But they're not going to get crushed quite yet. Oh no, not yet. Now I've got all these computer parts here. And you may notice I have some UU matter on me. I thought about it and I didn't feel like doing a whole Mistcraft world just to get wool. So I figured I would just go ahead and make some out of UU matter. Look at that, nice, about a stack. Not sure, I just wasted 15 UU matter, but it's not really a waste, I need this junk. So I'm just gonna make up about as much white insulated wire as I can. Alright, not bad. 17 bundled cable, let's see if that'll do the trick. Now basically, these two pistons in the front here are attached to two pieces of glass that you can't see right now because it's touching other pieces of glass. It's just how Minecraft works. But two pieces of glass which will be pushed forward, and each of these pistons, one here and one here, also have another piece of glass. So what I'm going to do first is step number one is I close these two and those two. And that will form a nice glass ceiling so that the monsters, specifically spiders, cannot get out. Okay, so now I got the white cords connected and extending the glass, closing the glass ceiling like I wanted. Although I ended up using up all my bundled cable and I still need to run some of this back here. So I'm gonna go cook up some red alloy ingots. Good lord, it's very, very high. Side note, I seem to be able to fling myself very far now. Ugh. Now that I got those boots. Alright, let's give this a try. Oh, good lord! Oh, yep, still got it. So I need more red alloy ingots so I can make a decent amount of these insulated wires. Great. Two more bundled cables. I do need some orange insulated wires and some magenta insulated wires. So you can just dye the cables the appropriate color. Alright. How I ever get in here is a wonder. Oh, they despawned. Oh, and I closed the door on them too. So they can't fall in. Oh, there's more. Look at that. That many more spawned in that time? They seriously despawned? Maybe this is the best location for this. Well, we'll see. Anyway, I've got plenty of magenta and orange cable. Magenta right here. Let's just check the magenta. Oh, yeah, don't crush him yet. Not yet. Turn it off. Are you also hovering in the front? Oh, I see, because the other ones are pushing you forward. Tons of monsters. So these crusher pistons are on magenta. We'll just run orange off the back here. And this just doesn't look right, so let's just put a cover strip there. That's nice. More orange here. Oh yeah, beautiful. I have enough cable. Alright, so all of these are hooked up, and I believe they're hooked up properly. Let's just check on orange. Orange. That should actually start crushing spiders. See any spiders? See? Pushes them forward. So great. So here we go. We're all hooked up. So in order, it's white to close the hatch. Okay? No spiders getting out. No more things falling in. Orange to push them forward. Right? All four pistons in the back extend. And then magenta to crush. Yes. Music to my ears. Oh, beautiful. What you die, I get your stuff. Okay, now there's a bunch of items in there. Now my next order of business is to get all those items into this chest right here. And I'm just going to leave the top closed so those monsters can't get me. And see what happens is the items fall onto these transposers. Fall right through. But I'm going to put some tubes here. Need it right over to this chest. Being the only valid inventory, they should all go right in there. So just drop this junk. 13 bones, 3 gunpowder, 13 bones. Good lord. I'm gonna have to find a use for these suckers. So that is great. Now all I have to do is get all this junk hooked up. I suppose some monsters are gonna hang around in here while they do that. Now this I/O expander right here needs to be hooked up to the bundled cable. And here's the input right here on the colored side, so boom, right there. officially done with all this bundled cable nonsense. Now I'm gonna want this monitor to be somewhere pretty close to all this gobbledygook. Can I put it there? So I have to be able to connect this. Ribbon cable. Clean that up there. That's nice. And maybe torches on the sides. Oh, I like that. Disk drive here. It's connected as well. Just to there. Central processing unit down here. Pick these all via ribbon cables. And right behind the central processing unit, this is the only place this thing will actually go, is the backplane. And right on top of the backplane, also the only place this thing will go, is the 8K RAM module. And if you know anything about computers, RAM, random access memory, is basically the working space it has. And I actually am pretty certain that I need this, because when in my test world it said I was out of memory, so I had to jam one of these suckers in the back, and I'm pretty sure I had to do it here too. Alright, so I believe this is set up properly. Now I just need to say, hey look, there's nothing on this right? Okay. Because I need my 4th boot disk. 4th boot disk? Where are the first 3? You know, that's just like me. I'm always losing things when I need to find them. It's just, I find this disk, it's 4 out of 4. Great. I need the first 3. Jeez. Well, maybe it'll find it anyway. Just put it there. So, let's, start this thing. Reset. And start. There you go. Mine OS version 1.1 initialized. 8,792 bytes free. Yeah, so I would only had about 600 bytes to work with if I didn't add that RAM module. That would not have been enough. Alright. Here's where the fun stuff comes into play. Let's see, what do I remember? Something like IOX set... Oh wait, no. 1 IOX set... Is that it? Hey, that did something. Ah, yes. 1 IOX set. And 1 IOX RST. Great. That is the command to control that. Now, do you guys want a full tutorial on this junk or not? I'm not going to give one in this series. If you want one, leave me a comment and maybe I'll do a mod explanation for this. But even if I do, it's not going to be a crazy long one. So, you know, just basically, there's some commands on here. Stack-based language means you put one thing in, like 1, and there's like commands to view the stack, period. That views the stack. I think it also resets it. So see, now it's an empty stack. But stacks are annoying, and basically it just is... I really don't know how to explain this thing, because, I mean, I've used it before, and I can make some relatively useful, quote, words for this thing. But hey, I'm sure there's a bunch of useful stuff in here, and I just don't really care. There's not a big incentive, because I know enough to do what I want to do. Now, what is this 1? Where'd you get 1 from? Well, it's the value of the cable. Let's come back here, look at the insulated cables. It goes white, orange, magenta, light blue, yellow, on and on. Now, I chose the first ones because this is, it always starts off, it's like 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, yada yada, you know? It's base 2 mathematics, right? You probably know what that is. If you don't, just go to sleep. And the IOX set is just a command to say, hey, this thing over here, like bundled cable you're set to, you know, set the value of this bundled cable to 1. 1 IOX set. And the value is 1, that'll mean that the white cable is enabled, because the 1 bit is on. They're additive too, so if I said 3, that should be 1 and 2. And what would that be? Let's see, that would be white and orange, which would be the glass ceiling and the thing in the back, shouldn't that be? So if I say 3 IOX set, yep, it closes both the white and the orange. Because 3 in binary is a 1-bit and a 2-bit, which means the 1-bit white insulated wire and the 2-bit orange insulated wire. So there, that's great. If I say 3 IOX reset, it should pull back both of them. And it did. Or I could do it separately. I could say 1 IOX set, that's the white, close the ceiling, and 2 IOX set. Push forward the pistons. And then, of course, the next one would be 4 IOX set to crush. 7 IOX reset gets rid of them all. You see that? That's math in action. Who said you'd ever use math in real life? What do you mean this isn't real life? Shut up. Besides, use it all the time in programming. Well, I guess if you're not a programmer, maybe it doesn't... I don't know. Alright, so the basic gist of fourth is stacks and words. Now, words are not to be confused with objects. Objects, when changed, are recognized by other parts of the program as changed. Okay? Words are actually compiled into the bytes of data at the time that you compile them, and then they never change. What does that mean? That means if I create a word, which I think is colon space, let's say crush, and now it's asking what should crush do? Well, crush is just for IOX set. But then, of course, you can make additional lines for this. So the next one, let's say, I want to tell it to wait, because it's going to crush them. It should take a while to crush them. Say maybe about 10 seconds. Now, the way you measure this is in ticks. Minecraft ticks, there are 20 per second. So for 10 seconds, it would be 200 ticks. And ticks is actually a command. And then, of course, for IOX reset. And to end the word, semicolon. Now, if I run crush, activates the crusher pistons, waits 10 seconds, and retracts the crusher pistons. If I were to use crush in a different word, and then change crush, in object-oriented programming, I would not have to recompile the second word that uses crush, because that's how object-oriented programming works. It is highly extensible and very useful. But this stack-based language actually just puts all that junk onto the stack. It's not an object, it's just taking all this gobbledygook that I tell it and compiling it into bytecode, and that's it. Let me show you the example, because that's kind of hard to grasp without seeing it. So I'm going to say cycle. To start the cycle, I want one IOX set. Bring down the glass ceiling. And let's wait 2 seconds. After that, let's push forward the back pistons. And wait 1 second. And after that, let's run crush. Now, for now, this crush that I said is exactly what I compiled up there. 4 IOX set, 200 ticks, 4 IOX reset. So, crusher pistons, wait 10 seconds, no more crusher pistons. And so for now, the next thing I would want to do is retract 1 and 2. I can do this by saying 3 IOX reset. And end. Now if I run cycle, here you go. Look at that. Timed perfectly, just like I wanted it to. And it's done. That's one cycle. However, if I say crush should now be for IOX set 10 ticks for IOX reset cycle, you see this is taking a lot longer than half a second. This stack-based language does not recognize that I changed crush, because it doesn't care about crush, okay? This is not a variable, this is not a reference, this is not a memory location, this is just face value what it was at the time of compiling, which means I have to recompile cycle if I want this thing to work. And don't misunderstand, because even with this restriction, this language can still function very, very well. It actually is much more extensible than I have let on. Because in this stack-based language, there's a way to use stacks so that they can write other words. So you could have it automatically compile these words, and all you would have to do is change one line on that stack if you wanted to modify one line in the word. Now, I'm not going to do this because this is pretty much done. It just needs a bit more tweaking. Now, okay, I made this a little bit longer just because I wanted to, make it a little cooler looking. So let's do cycle. Because, I have these on separate cables. I may as well, make a tiny bit of time in between each one just to make it look a little cooler. But, not so much time that it actually makes it inefficient. Alright, so that's perfect. You say, oh, that's great. But why would you want to come over here and type in cycle every time you want to crush monsters? Well, you know what? I really would not want to do that. I do not want to do that. That's lame as crap. That's a terrible idea. No, that's not what I do. I'll show you what I'm going to do in a minute, but I have one thing left I need to do. I'm just a little worried that I might screw something up here. So I'm just going to request a few things here. I'm making myself a blank floppy. Alright? I'm going to take Mr. Fourth boot disk out. Put blank floppy in. I'm going to say save mob crush. There we go. Just get the syntax right. What did that do here? Let's take this disk out. Mob crush. And that actually saved the entirety of this memory to this disk. And I've tested this before, and that's really all you need to do if you want to save all your words and all your other stuff. Because I've done that and break the machine before. I put it back in and it works. Alright? So you just save that in case you screw something up. So, you know, if you're not concerned about all this extra junk, this is a nice, easy way to just make one little thing in here and save it. Now, back to the problem of this is inefficient because, you know, they're not spawning right now, and if I had to, you know, wait down here every time, I mean, I'm better waiting off up here, so if I get this thing to automatically, you know, run cycles, if you will, while I'm up there, then this thing should fill up. Well, great, then I'll do that. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to make a word. Now, you know how this thing, I can't just make another word, and I can't just make it call cycle, and then have it call itself, okay? I can't do recursion. It won't work. But, what I can do is I could say, infinitas. And let's say, this is a special command, 1,000 times, which just means this will do it 1,000 times, cycle. And that's it. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call 1,000 times infinitas. So this will run 1,000,000 cycles. Yep, 1,000,000. Which means I can just leave. And watch, it's gonna go. It's gonna keep going. It's gonna crush the monsters. The junk's gonna end up in here. So I can leave. In fact, let's take all this junk, just so I know how much stuff I get. And I'm gonna leave. And that is done. I do nothing else to it. I can now go work on something else. And go up really high and fall. That was weird. Oh look, this MFSU, it's full, which means it must be toggling this thing. So let's see, slowly but surely producing some UU matter for me. Once I get up to 56 more UU matter, I can make the quantum helmet. And look, just made a piece, and thanks to this, it's automatically getting piped into this chest. Oh hey, it looks like the 1.5 seconds is enough time for all this cobblestone. So let's try another number. Let's try 175. How about that? You know, these things are going. They've been going for some time. I'm curious to see just how much junk they made. Yeah, this is a ton of scrap. So, I'm just gonna let you know a secret. I've been sticking a bunch of extra scrap in this chest, just because it's over here. So, before I do too much else, I think I need to make up a system to use up that scrap. Instead of, you know, because I don't like to turn my machines off anymore. I don't like that. You know what? I'm past that stage. Let's find a way to use it. So let's come over here, and let's just see how much of this junk I got to... What? Are you kidding me? What is it? This is a ridiculous amount of fragments. I don't think I've ever seen that many in one place before, and I'm not ready to get to this stuff yet. Oh, good lord. Do you know what this means? To be continued. Oh, good lord! Oh. Yep,